Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Friday. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Friday, guys. Get excited. Get excited. Get excited, honey. Get excited. Let me just tell you guys. Okay, Kizzy. So dramatic, honey. I'm just so excited because, like, I'm reading these emails, right? The empath in me is empathing. So when I'm reading these emails about these testimonies, like, my spirit is so freaking ignited. You will think that their testimony is mine, seriously. So I received several, but one in particular, one of my good sis have been through a struggle point trying to get her visa. God has gave her a promise some time ago, but as you can imagine, everything came against her, from the enemy attacking her family in major ways. Finances, delays, frustrations, like major warfare, major spiritual attack. So she emailed me and she was like, "Sis, you won't believe this. Like, oh my goodness, I got to not only did I get approved, they treated me like royalty. Because sometimes getting those visas and things like that, they can kind of be really, Then I got another good sis who emailed me last night and told me that something happened on her job. She was terminated wrongfully, and it's like she knows she had a case but didn't have the money for a lawyer. So of course the enemy is like had her on this merry-go-round, telling her you can't get anything because you ain't got the honey, you ain't got the money. How you can get the lawyer, honey? Honey, tell me why God sent her to a lawyer who's going to take the case. Period. The enemy was trying to get her to settle for, I think, 12 weeks pay or something like that. But the Lord keeps telling her, no, you're worth more than that, right? So with all that being said, this is why it's important not to settle. See, you gotta stick with God. Don't you dumb down anything. Whatever God has spoken to you, you stick there. I don't want to hear anything about no counterfeits. You stick, you stick what God has told you. I don't care if you're tired of waiting. I don't care if you're frustrated. I don't care. Do not dumb down what God has spoken to you. If He's given you a certain word, you got to lock on that word and you got to stick. You got to lock it. The enemy is going to come up and he's going to attack it from every way possible. And that's not to say you won't get frustrated. That's not to even say you won't get tired and weary. Like, seriously, right? It is what it is, right? But if you just lock there, you will see the promises of God. Also, and several of you have emailed me with other, so many of you guys have met like your not potential. No. Your kingdom spouses, point blank, period. Ain't no potential, right? Period. If God said it, it is, point blank, period. And these are people who've been waiting for some time, almost to the point where they're ready to settle for a counterfeit. No, we don't settle over here. That's not what we do. We see things through, point blank, period. Settle where? We ain't got time for that. Settle where? Settle who? Kizzy? Okay. We don't do that. Mm-mm. I guess I don't know. I'm really passionate about that because we don't settle over here. If God said it, it is, point blank, period. Nothing less than. So anyway, child, my spirit is ignited. Settle where? Who? Okay. Lord, please help me get back on track here. I don't even know where I stopped it. I can't get back on track now, honey, because my flesh got. I don't like that word settle. So to those of you who are experiencing God bringing in your kingdom partners, I say partners because, again, everyone's not called to marriage. Kingdom partnerships, kingdom spouses, destiny helpers, things like that. You are realizing exactly what I shared and what the Holy Spirit have been sharing with many of us is how they happen so suddenly. It is just the spirits collide. The spirit, when you meet somebody or whatever, even if the chemistry is there, it still takes a minute to kind of warm up to their spirit or whatever. These people feel like somebody you've known all your life, like all your life, like seriously. So congrats to those of you who are walking into the season where God has promised you your kingdom spouses and partners. To those of you who are still waiting on whatever God has promised you, I hope this encourages you to understand that these same people who email me, these things happen literally overnight. These things happen the complete opposite of what they thought. They stood on what God said, right? They stood on it. They didn't waver in spite of. And suddenly, this is literally the season of suddenly. Also, another thing that's happening too, this happened to me yesterday. God is sending out, I don't want to say last confirmations, but it's almost like a confirmation coming to some people where it's like, here's a confirmation. And you're like, well, Lord, at this point, I believe you seriously, because you already given me like 1,027 already, like over time. So at this point, I truly believe you. I'm good now. I'm just really waiting. But he's like, no, but this one is don't ask me no more about anything. Don't question anything, right? I need you to take this last confirmation, you lock it, and you better digest it. Don't let anything make you question it. I don't care what it is. Lock on it. Don't ask me about it again. Don't doubt it again, right? That type of confirmation. And they're coming in ways that you don't expect. God's ways is higher than our ways. So we're thinking, right, it's going to come from somebody who you're around every day. You asking these people to pray for you, honey. It's going to come from a complete stranger. But mine came yesterday from a friend who I love dearly. But you know, some of those friends that you don't speak often, like a whole 6 months, maybe a year can even go by, because it's just like life have kind of just taken you in different directions. But when you do come together, the love have never changed, right? So I haven't heard from one of my good sisters in like, probably, I don't know, it's been a minute. I lied. She texted me on my birthday, but prior to my birthday, what am I talking about? My birthday is next week. So yeah, it's been a year. I heard from her last on my birthday. And she texted me out the blue. So when I saw her number, I don't even know why she was texting me. I just didn't know. But when I opened it, she shared something. Listen. This is how you know that is God, because God will use either strangers or random people or people you haven't even spoken to in a while, or people who don't even know anything about certain promises of God. God will use these people to hit you out the blue and give you some old random stuff. And you're like, it's God. So that's what he's doing. So stop looking and searching and getting frustrated because you're not getting confirmations from the way you think they should, or that it's not looking like right in your immediate circle. It can be a stranger who walk up to you tomorrow and give you a firm confirmation, right? God is typically going to use the ways where we can't fit. We ain't God. How we think we know how God going to do something, right? Lastly, some of you are still having certain spirits around you. Like, okay, so you know what it is, right? You're not even doubting God. You're just waiting for the suddenly. Right? You're just waiting for the suddenly. But either you got your hands back, dabbling with a particular person for whatever reason, you kind of just, God kind of like severed it, he pruned it, and then somehow it came back together. But the spirit have never even really been right like that anyway, but it's just something. The enemy caused something where it caused the person to be back in your life, right? And sometimes it has to be. It could just be something where it has to be, and that's fine. That's fine. But when God starts tapping you and confirming that, okay, release it again, because something happened, and yeah, you may have had to be around this person for a week or 2 weeks for whatever reason it may be. But when God starts convicting you to release, okay, go ahead and send it back. Go ahead and release it back. Please, whatever you do, release it back. Because certain blessings are literally going to be held up until you remove the very thing, the very person, the very spirit that God had been clear. He can't, there are some things he just can't, I don't know what it is, but there are some things that he cannot release when you have the wrong, well, I guess I do know what it is, when you have the wrong spirit around you. So I don't care, whatever this person got going on, I don't care if they're helping you with this or helping you with that, or they're beneficial in this way. If God says the spirit is just not a spirit that can mix with yours, please be obedient. When you do that, watch, suddenly things start to move. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.